Hey guys, Jehuty here with another Tekken 7 video, and we've just received the update 4.10, so let's discuss the patch notes. First of all, added support for the Lydia character DLC, the Island Paradise DLC, so the stage. Both of those will be available on the 23rd for everyone. And then added an auto skip function to player matches. What they've also done is they've added a feature that displays match results in player match chat. Both very welcome new additions. They've also added new music to the jukebox, of course due to the new stage. Made adjustments to the game balance, which we'll get into later. And of course fixed various bugs. So now I'm going to go through the patch notes and show you each character, what they've changed, what they've fixed. You can look into the timestamps and find what you want to skip to. Then without further ado, let's get into it. So first up we have Yoshimitsu with his during rage up back 1+4. So what used to be the case is that sometimes when an opponent would use a quick combo, and Yoshimitsu would use this, he would successfully stop the opponent's attack, but for some reason the other attack would still connect with him, and he would not be able to follow off with a combo of his own. So this should now be consistent. This is more of a bug fix. Next up we have Steve, who has a couple of nerfs. First up is his second rage drive. So what's happened here is that they've nerfed the damage on the first hit by 5 damage. So it used to do 10, now it does 5 damage. That's quite a nerf to his overall combo output. Then we have the next string. So what's happened here is that this used to be -9 on block. It's now -10, so it's punishable. This is quite a nerf. Next up we have during quick turn 2, and what is now the case with this move is that in mid-air the opponent doesn't fly as far anymore, so this is going to hurt his overall wall travel. Yeah. Next up is this string, which is similar to the previous one mentioned, and it's the same thing here. So the last hit is -10 instead of -9, so it's now punishable. Next up is down 2. So what used to be the case is that this move used to track to both sides. Now with a well-timed side step you can avoid it. However, if you sidewalk you will still be clipped. On higher level of play this is definitely a major nerf. Then we have down 1. This used to be ±0 on hit, it's now -2. And the reason they did this is that despite it seeming like you're in the neutral, Steve was still in an advantageous situation because he could sidestep by utilizing weaving, so either 3 or 4, or also stop the opponent's attacks by using while rising 1. So next move is back 1 into flicker. What used to be the case here is that it was very difficult for opponents to get close to Steve at mid and long range when this move was used. So what they've done now is that when this move whiffs, it takes 3 frames longer to recover, and on top of that, when Steve executes this move and he wants to transition into crouching, so down back, it takes him 3 frames longer to do so. So the last of Steve's nerfs come to his power crush during flicker, so during flicker back 2. And this has gotten a damage reduction. It used to do 27, now it does 21 damage. And the next character is Lucky Chloe. She's gotten more of a fix than a buff or a nerf. So what used to be the problem is that if you try to execute down back 4 during left twist, but you got into left twist by doing down forward 1-3 and then transitioning into left twist, you wouldn't be able to do down back 4. So now this shouldn't be the case anymore, this should be fixed. Next character is Nina. She too has more of a fix done to her. So with the inputs down, forward, she would sometimes accidentally do a special step, and that would not allow her to be able to low parry when she does this input. So that should be fixed. And the patch notes also say that this has already been done for Paul, Brian, Feng, Lily, Dragunov, Leo, and Master Raven, so don't worry about that. Anna, which I'll get later onto, also has the same fix. And we also have Lee with another fix. So during his rage, so his rage drive, now you should be able to counter attack him, so you should be able to get a counter hit in, which is a nerf if you ask me. So Anna also has fixes done to her. First of all is her rage drive. So the first attack, when she executed it, she would not be able to be countered. So now she should also be able to be counter-attacked whilst executing it. Then what I mentioned with Nina with the down forward inputs, it's the same thing. Special step was executed, so she would not be able to low parry. That's now been fixed. Then we have during Chaos Judgment, so back 3, and if an opponent would try to execute a throw, they would be countered, and that didn't happen with certain characters, so that now should also be fixed. Next character is Julia. She has a couple of nerfs done to her. So first up is the forward 3-1 very quickly inputted, and the thing with this move is that it used to like hit the opponent on their stomachs, so they would fall over themselves and land on their stomachs with their heads facing you. That's no longer the case. They now just fly back and land on their back regularly. So now certain guaranteed follow-ups are not guaranteed anymore. Then we have up forward 1. So what they've done here is that this used to be safe at -8. It's now -12, so punishable, and the opponent is now closer to Julia, so they're now going to get more consistent punishment out of it. Next move is up forward 3+4, and this has gotten a damage reduction. It used to do 30 damage, it now does 27 damage. So last of Julia's changes is during sidestep 4. This on counter hit used to grant Julia a couple of follow-ups. Now that's not the case anymore. They're just stunned, holding their toes. So that does it for Julia. Next character is Leroy, who has fixes done to his hermit stance. So he has this auto low parry out of the stance, and with certain characters in certain situations it would not activate, so that now should be fixed. Next character is Kunimitsu. If you were expecting nerfs, there are none here. She has more of fixes done to her. So first things first is her rage drive. So she was actually not vulnerable to counterattack when she utilized her rage drive. Now that shouldn't be the case anymore. This has now been fixed. The other thing is that upon successfully low parrying and using the rage drive, you'd have scenarios where it would not transition into the throw. So that should now also be fixed. And then we have another change, let me read it to you. There was an issue that a wall break, balcony break got unexpectedly performed upon hitting the side in the air. We fixed an issue to prevent a wall break, balcony break getting performed. So yeah, that's more of consistency. And the last thing is we made the power to push the opponent stronger to reduce the possibility of characters passing through the opponent when they collide. So yeah, more fixes. Then we have during Setsunagake 1-2. And what they've done here is they've changed the animation on the second hit. And the reason for this is that at the wall, sometimes if you'd extend it into the Setsunagake 1-1, what would happen is that Kuni would penetrate through the opponent, and that's more of a consistency fix. Nothing else has changed, no frame data or anything has changed. That's just a consistency fix. Then we have the margin spins, so the down back 3s. The thing is that if you input down back 3+4, you should now also be able to get them, because sometimes when you perform the margin spins via that input, so the down back 3+4, you would actually sometimes get while crouching 3 instead. So that shouldn't be the case anymore, that should be fixed. So the last character with changes is Fahkumram, and he has a whole host of nerfs. First things first, to his rage drive, so the one during rage up forward 3+4. The first attack now does 25 damage instead of 35, so that's a major nerf. Then we have the string 1-1, and what they've done here is that they've reduced the damage on the second hit. It used to do 20, now does 16. And they've also changed the reaction on counter hit. If I remember properly, it spins the opponent around. That's no longer the case. Then we have the string 1-4, and what they've done is that they've changed the frame advantage on hits. It used to be a whopping +16, it's now +3. So then we have the string 3-4, What they've done is that they've reduced the damage on the second hit. It used to be 20, it's now 18, and they've also removed the spinning of the opponent on successfully hitting, so they've changed that. Now we come to the generic 3 by itself. What's happened here is that on block it's -9 instead of -6, and then on top of that on hits it's no longer +5, it's now +2, so it's been nerfed overall. Then we come to the move forward 1 + 2, and what they've done here is they've reduced the pushback when the move is blocked, so that Fahkumram isn't at such an advantage because he's actually at -7, but because of the distance this move becomes problematic. Then we have down forward 1. So what they've done here is that they've nerfed on the move on block, so it's now -5 instead of -3, and on hit it's it's +4 instead of +6, so nerfed all around. Then we have down forward 3, and this has also been nerfed, and when the move is blocked it's now -13 instead of -12, and on hit it's now -2 instead of -1, and yeah, so overall nerfed. Then we have down forward 2, 3, and when the move is blocked it's now -12 instead of -11. The other thing is that this move has a window which you can delay the second hit, so you can wait and see what the opponent does, and this window has been reduced from 21 frames to 16 frames, so nerfed overall. Then we have down 4 or 4-4, so the low kick, and its damage has been reduced. It used to do 18 damage, now it does 15. And then we have down 3 + 4. Now this move, what's happened here is that for one, they've reduced the damage. It's now 15 damage instead of 20. And then on block, this is the real big nerf. It used to be -13, it's now -17, so it's launch punishable. And then they've also changed the frame data upon hit. It used to be +1, it's now neutral at ±0. Last change goes to his back 4-3-2, and the last hit now does less damage. It used to do 27, it now does 21 damage. This is definitely going to affect his wall damage because he uses it as a wall combo. Yeah, and that about does it for all of the changes with the patch 4.10. On my channel there are far more changes for Season 4 for about 29 characters up to this point. Fahkumram and Leroy and Lucky Chloe, Anna and so forth, which I've already mentioned in this video. They're already there, so you can check that out. There are also other guides. And this is your boy Jehuty. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, consider subscribing because I put out content all the time, and of course share with your friends because that also helps me. And this is your boy Jehuty, and I'll see you on the next one.